Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 2381. So there hasn't been occasion to do a Jedi business episode for a while, but something came across my radar that I thought was kind of fascinating in its way, and I wanted to share it with you today. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7 by 7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy. And thank you so much for joining me for it. So if you are new to the podcast, or if you just need the refresher, the Jedi business episodes are the episodes where we look at the box office performance of Star Wars movies. They've been Jedi business for the Skywalker saga movies, and they were called something else for the standalone movies. I think we called it Scoundrel business for Solo, for example. So the reason why this came up is because of the fact that I was looking at 2020 box office numbers and thinking about, when movie theaters might open for 2021 and that sort of thing. But I was reminded that The Empire Strikes Back had a re-release in 2020 in honor of its 40th anniversary. And I was rather shocked to see that it made $3 million. And I don't mean that in terms of, why would The Empire Strikes Back make $3 million? That's a bad movie. Not like that, naturally. No, I mean in the sense of I'm shocked that it was able to make money considering everything that's been going on with the pandemic. So I thought $3 million was pretty darn good, all things considered. And in more than 2,000 theaters, shockingly. It just kind of blew my mind. And I was wondering where it might have charted on releases for all of 2020. And I guess it was rather silly of me to think that it might have been, even in double digits. It was like the 230 odd most viewed movie in terms of box office receipts. So yeah, it wasn't even close. The actual box office winner for 2020 was Bad Boys for Life, which was released in January and made $200 million. So once I remembered that there were movies that had been released and seen widely in theaters in the first couple of months of 2020, that kind of set me right in that regard. But it also got me thinking about The Rise of Skywalker. We touched on it briefly in our episode earlier this month where we talked about, or was it earlier than, it might have been the end of December, where we did the 2020 review and 2021 preview about movies and about The Rise of Skywalker specifically. It turned out that for 2019, if you counted it as a 2019 release, even with the money that it made in 2020, which is generally how that's done, it was the number 3 movie domestic overall behind Avengers Endgame, which nobody was going to beat that movie, and The Lion King, the live action CGI remake. And goodness gracious, doesn't the thought of Avengers Endgame seem like forever ago? I mean, it'll be, 2 years in May, but oh gosh, it seems so ridiculously long ago. And looking at the 2020 numbers just for what actually was made in 2020, it turns out that The Rise of Skywalker ends up being in, I believe, either 5th or 6th place. So, it did pretty well for its numbers for the time that it had available to it, but that got me wondering about what might happen once movie theaters open again. Is it possible that we will see The Rise of Skywalker return to theaters? I haven't heard a rumor like that. It's just something that I thought was kind of fun to consider. But then again, all the movie studio companies that have pushed their 2020 movies out to 2021 or 22 and beyond, there's probably no room for it or anything like that. So as much as we might want to see a Star Wars movie back in theaters, I think we're not going to see one until obviously Rogue Squadron at the end of 2023, but maybe, just maybe, considering that they did the re-release of Empire in 2020, maybe we will see a re-release of Return of the Jedi before we see the release of Rogue Squadron, because naturally 2023 is going to be Return of the Jedi's 40th anniversary. So it may not be quite as long for you to have to wait to see a Star Wars movie in theaters, and it just might not be the newest one, as it turns out. So, and that was just a little, fun tributary that I went down, or at least it was fun for me. I hope I've made it fun for you as well. And that is where I'm going to leave things for the show today. Just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for the show as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.